Ladies and gentlemen, you know what is. Hot 97, my name is Peter Rosenberg. Yo, I think this is the first time that everyone has been here together for an official visit because there's been different combinations before. But Griselda is in the building and the album is officially out. West Side Gun, Benny the Butcher, Conway the Machine in the building on Hot 97. How are you guys? Yo, Gun, let's talk about how horrible my version of that is.
Oh, man. We hit, man. We hit.
No, I already tried on the phone the other day, and you said, what did you say? You said,
yeah. I forgot. What that shit sound like?
He was like, that's not what a machine gun sounds like.
Yeah.
Brrr. It's not. That's not how you do it. It's there's something wrong with my ad-lib game. First of all, man, congrats on the project.
Thank you, man.
It's here now.
What Machine Gun do, man?
Thank
out
you,
right now, man.
And what's the mathematics behind this specific project? Why was this what we got right now? It's kind of hard to figure out what the method to the madness is from a project standpoint with you guys. Like, it's kind of like you're always hitting fans in the head randomly with projects. So WWCD, why this? Why now? Where does this fit into the whole Griselda situation?
I mean, you know, this project was the first one as a major release, you know what I'm saying? So that's why this one is different from all the other ones, because it's basically our major release debut
with Shady.
And with Shady. And what Machine Gun do, man, it was only right that, you know, that's our fallen member of the group. So it's just like, if we're still gonna be doing this, you know what I'm saying, we gotta keep everything in memory of him, you know what I'm saying? So it's just that feel, the grimy feel, that's exactly how it would sound if he was still here. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we came with just the grimiest, you know, sounds and rhymes that we could think of. And, you know, we did the whole album in less than 48 hours. You know what I'm saying? So
where did he fit into everything, friendship-wise? Where did he pop up in terms of this whole organization?
No, that's Benny, real blood brother. That's my first cousin. You know what I'm saying? So that's who people always see this chain on my neck every day. Like, oh, is that your kid, or is that you when you were a baby? You know, nah, this was Machine Gun. Like, this who I grew up with my whole life. You know what I'm saying? We grew up, slept in the same bed type shit on the weekends, took baths together when we was younger. Like, you know,
this is family for real.
Yeah, the whole life. You know what I'm saying? So he was at the hospital when I was born. I was in the hospital when Benny was born. You know what I'm saying? It's like, this isn't no we.
And musically, where did he fit into everything? Because you talked about the influence and the sound that he would have.
Yeah, he was with us. He was another member. You know what I'm saying? You know, then it was SC Gang. Griselda is SC Gang. You know what I'm saying? And SC Gang was us three. My man Cutter and, you know, Machine Gun Black, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, he passed away in 06. And, you know, but his style was just some of the grimiest shit you ever heard, ever, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Voice like, loud, heavy.
Yeah, it's just vicious. Like, at that time, too, it was like nobody was sounding like him. The only person, you know, because he died in 06, so his time of rhyming was really like, because he was locked up, you know what I'm saying? So that's the thing. He only really had maybe 2 years, honestly. But that was like, you know, back then it was like Beans was the hardest. You know how everybody back in the early 2000s, it was Beans. But to us, it was Machine Gun. You know what I'm saying? Like, Machine Gun was, you know, Philly had Beans and Buffalo had Machine Gun.
Benny, what was your guys' age difference?
He was 3 years older than me.
So super influential on you.
Hell yeah. He couldn't go outside unless he was taking me. That type of shit. My mom made sure, like, I want to go play football, take your brother. I want to do this, take your brother. So I got to experience everything a few years early because I experienced it through him. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm guessing hip-hop-wise a major influence as well. Because, I mean, the older brother role, historically in music, there's no bigger influence to everyone in the world who loves music who's ever had an older... I mean, the reason I'm sitting here with you guys is because of my older brother.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm sure that was a very... That relationship existed.
Yeah, that's a fact. I tell this story all the time. I told this story like 3 or 4 times. Remember being at the house as kids and him and Wes rapping and they making me bebop. They not letting me rap. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like young as hell. I'm like 6 bebopping for these niggas while they rapping. We recording it. You know what I'm saying? Like, facts.
Wow.
Even way back
This
to
goes
then.
back a very, very long way.
That's what we be trying to tell people.
Yo, Conway, when did the relationship with all of you guys come together? You guys are all blood. And Conway, when did the relationship start for you?
No, we all family. I was there from the beginning.
What's like literally childhood also.
Yeah, I was outside.
So this whole thing goes back. How many years are we starting? But from a realizing not that you're just family or friends, but that you guys are moving together and that this is going to be a thing together. How far back?
25 years.
I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
And it went through different phases. Like you said, it was SE Gang. But it was always.
It was Pimp before that.
Yeah, I remember
Pimp?
that. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Pimp was the first thing.
Yeah.
It was crazy. You know what I'm saying? He was always the curator. You know what I'm saying? And he was always like the general of who he is. You know what I mean? And I always was like, yo, Benny, this is what we doing. Come on. And I'm like, all right, this is what we doing. Because I always been the youngest. You feel what I'm saying?
Gun, it's got to be really satisfying to see the way this has unfolded from a fan standpoint and how people have gravitated towards everyone. Like it literally has gone in order where your name was out there, then everyone starts knowing Conway, and now over the last 18 months, Benny has just turned into a star of his own. It's got to be so satisfying to watch everyone be able to shine. And the funny part is I remember the first time I ever interviewed you, you're like, I'm not a rapper. Like I'm the organizer, I'm the vision, I'm not the rapper. Although, 9,000 songs later, I would say, I don't know, you're kind of a rapper. But it's got to be so satisfying to watch everyone kind of shine on their own, right?
I love it. I love it because, that was always the plan. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, sometimes people be having dreams and be like, yo, ideas and, it might not work out like it's supposed to, and that's, unfortunately, it's like 9 times out of 10, that's reality for a lot of, you know what I'm saying? But like everything that I, visioned just came, it's here, it came into fruition. So, I mean, it's a blessing, man, you know what I'm saying? But, ever since I started, exactly how I planned it is exactly how it happened. So it was destined, man. It was written, you know what I mean?
Now, Conway, one of those things that I'm sure you guys always thought about, whether you thought it was realistic or not, was being with legends. And you've been welcomed by legends since you walked in the door. I remember Mobb Deep showing up at one of your shows years ago. Prodigy, rest in peace. It's been beautiful, the welcoming you've gotten from hip hop. But then when that post went up on social media of you in the lab with Marshall, with Eminem, can you take just from a straight rap fan standpoint? Can you take us through what that experience was like and what it meant to you?
It was dope. It definitely was I don't know, like so gratifying. You know what I mean? Like, Marshall is like one of the illest lyricists to ever pick a pen up. You know what I mean? And I'm heavy on like wordplay, stuff like that. So to be around him and him, having high praise for my craft, it was definitely a dope feeling. And just being there, you know what I mean, in the room with him. You know what I mean? It's a different feeling than, I like to get next to dudes. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? No homo. Like, I like to be on, I like it to be organic.
Feel the
I don't
energy.
Yeah, I ain't with
Not
all
just
that.
send an MP3, but
Yeah, I ain't with all that. Like, I don't care how good you can rap. Like, if we don't vibe, like, I don't want to, no disrespect. I wish you the best. And I'm doing me, you do you. But, it was just dope just being in the lab with homie
And was he
respecting my craft.
And also like him, M is such a hip hop head.
Right.
Such a straight up real hip hop head. Have you guys been able to have those kind of conversations with him? Because that's really when he's in his zone, is when he's talking about the culture for real.
Indeed. Like, you know what I mean? I'm a student, first and foremost, before a fan, you know what I mean? So every time I get around him, I try to like ask him stuff and talk to him about stuff that could, help me sharpen my blade more and enhance my craft and all that. You know what I mean? Like little tips and little things I could do, like just, you know what I mean, when I'm putting it together. You know what I mean? I'm a student, so I'm trying to get information out of him. I ain't really just there for like the pictures and to say, oh, I'm chilling with Eminem. Like I'm trying to get information out of him. Same thing with 50. I was just trying to get info. You know what I mean? I'm like a sponge. I'm trying to soak up the game.
Now, 50 and M are both on the new project. Gun, is there anybody that you really wanted on the first official major label debut that you weren't able to pull it together? Or did this, I mean, these are two of the biggest hitters in history. Was that all you wanted and you got it done?
Yeah, nobody else. You know what I'm saying? You know, Marshall, of course, and 50, it was just like, you know, the 50 song actually was done before we did What Was She Gonna Do. It was gonna be on Conway solo. And, you know, after I heard the whole album, I just felt like that song just fit this album so perfect. And like I said, we was coming with kind of like just What Was She Gonna Do, just like that grimy feeling. And, you know, it had that grimy feeling, but with a bop. It had like the old school 50 on it. And I was just like, this only makes sense. Like, let's not hold on to this. Like, the world need to hear this now. And I asked Bro, because it was his song at first. And I asked him, like, you know, how do you feel on it? And he was just like, yeah, man, let's do it. And, you know, that's how that song ended up being on the album. But the album was actually done. We threw that on at the end.
Benny, is there anything out there, like, in terms of Marshall, obviously, has got to be an amazing experience to have. Is there anyone else out there on the list that you're like, I really want to run next to this person, or just someone that you admired, period? And even if it's just about, you know, you'd love to know that they've heard your music or know what you're doing, that either has happened or that you'd love to see happen?
Yeah, it's a few dudes who I probably can't think of right now, but just like Hove, you know what I'm saying? Being able to play What Was She Gonna Do when it was unreleased for Hove, and playing other music for him, and he giving me the nod, and he loved the music. And
so take us through that. How does the Hove conversation begin? And because I want to get a little bit better of an understanding for how interested in this real underground-ish that Jay is, because I don't think he notoriously has done this, and notoriously doesn't get enough credit for it, in my opinion. The way that he reaches out. Just a couple weeks ago, there was a picture of him and Makami. So this is a guy who's always in touch with the next thing that's happening. How did the conversation with you guys and Hove begin?
Wes Ben had a relationship with the family at Rock Nation. You know what I'm saying? I've been around for like 2 years talking to him through Griselda, and it just was time to do a management deal, and we felt it was right to take it over there if we're gonna take it anywhere, and we just met him up at the crib
in LA or in LA.
In LA, you know what I'm saying? And had a conversation, and we always talked about hip hop, talked about our plans in the next couple years, and everything was on point. We was all on the same page. And it
now,
felt
does Beyonce walk by in a conversation like this going on and hear that boom, boom, boom? I mean, did that happen while Beyonce No, you didn't see Beyonce.
Nah.
I just wanted the idea of Beyonce hearing Griselda. I just thought that would be entertaining.
Pretty
to think
sure
about.
she do.
You think it's happened before? I mean, come on.
Because Hove plays us a lot.
Oh, he's in it.
No, like a lot. Probably more than anybody. He probably plays us more than anybody.
Right, he had telling me that he listened to my whole album and all that, and that was like back then, before we took the picture and signed the management deal. So before I even like knew that he knew who I was, you know what I'm saying? I'm sitting here in this house and he telling me like, yo, I listened to your whole album, it's this and that. I'm like,
how crazy is that,
Because
bro?
when Tana Talk 3 came out, that's what he was playing. Like, at least 3 different people that just was around him randomly. Every time they come around him, he was playing Tana Talk 3 and Supreme Blientele. And, you know, like, when he did, like, the top 20 list last year, you know, I had a song on there that he was always tapped in. The thing about what people don't know about Hove is, you know, Rock Nation was trying to sign me before I even did the Shady deal. People don't know that history. See what I'm saying? So
it goes back that far.
Yeah.
And it was always him directly trying to reach out?
Nah, it was, you know, I had a relationship with, like, Emery over there, Spanish Ren over there, my guy Polo, he had left Def Jam but went over there. It was just a lot of different people. I stayed in that office, Law. Shout out to Law. I stayed every time I came to New York. I went to both offices. You know what I'm saying? Every time it was like, you know, I was going, you know, just ping ponging back and forth because I really didn't know how I wanted to do it. And you know me, I'm kind of like, you know, I always brag like I'm a genius, I'm a mastermind, but that's my role. Seriously, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, I'm like, damn, you know, I can actually have an opportunity to work with both if I can go over here as a label and over here as management, over here as a label and over here as management. Like, I would be like, you know, we would be the only artists in the game that could have both, you know, power figures in our corner. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like I had to play it smart, and it's all about timing with me. And as you can see now, you know, we have dealings with both, we partner with both, and you know, it's still just the beginning.
I mean, it's pretty incredible to think about the label with Shady, the management with Rock Nation. No, this has never been done before. And yet, somehow, you guys still operate in this space of, I don't know, I'll be honestly, when I describe you guys and talk about you with other rap nerds, you know, I kind of talk about you being niche and avant-garde. I mean, honestly, in this era, I believe the kind of music you guys make would be considered avant-garde, like your own different thing that's not done.
Of course.
So my question is, do you enjoy that? Are you comfortable? Obviously, you're doing well, you're doing shows, stuff moves, but you are not mainstream artists, even though you're supported by these incredibly iconic mainstream cats. Are you comfortable in that space, or do you hope to have it grow to somewhere else? Because I'll be honest, musically, I'm not hearing compromise of music that's like, yeah, we're doing what we're doing, but this one's clearly the single. Like, that hasn't felt like what you're doing. It's not happening.
It's not going to happen. You know what I mean? That's the thing. Griselda has a sound. We have a formula. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, we're not about to change that. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. You know, what everybody else doing don't concern me, honestly. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what we do. This is what we stand for. It always been art first. You know what I mean? We do what we feel. And it's like, if you respect it, like, if you don't respect what we doing, why even be in business with us in the first place? You know what I'm saying? Like,
so no one's been trying to change you anyway?
Not at all.
Everyone feels good about this being the lane.
100%. Like I said, we didn't change our formula. The whole album was done in less than 48 hours. Like, what major would be like, wait a minute, you did this whole album in 48 hours? Like, it wasn't nothing like, yo, take this song off, or, you know, we think you should go back in and do some more. Like, what people heard is everything. That whole album had no samples. You know what I'm saying? Everything, the whole album was done from scratch in less than 48 hours, and that's the album that came out on the major.
How are you excited about this underground world that appears to be growing? There is a new sort of underground that, as you guys have emerged as sort of leaders in that world, is sort of following behind you. Obviously, I mentioned Makami, who people first knew through you guys, and he had a meeting with Hove a couple weeks ago. He has a very interesting method to releasing stuff physically, etc., making himself rare. Haitian cat from Jersey he has built his own thing now since then. And then beyond that, there's many more. Ito and Flea Lord and a whole bunch of artists who all have a dark, interesting, Griselda-esque sort of feel. Yeah. Do you think this is an exciting time for the music in general?
I think it is. I feel like it. This man right here, he all those dudes got to thank this man right here. You know what I'm saying? Even down to me. You can't even sit up here.
Me.
you can't sit up here and say those dudes' names without, I'm saying, Westside Gun. You know what I'm saying? He made it possible. He gave all of us a lane. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's very, very, very inspiring. And him too. Like, he spearheaded that lane. You feel what I'm saying? And these dudes right here, they did it. And I feel like we the new fathers of that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people say that we don't get the credit, or we don't take the credit, but that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? Everybody adapting to that sound, and even down to the vinyls, to the merch, and not even only the music and the beat selection, everything else.
Yeah, the rarity of random vinyl too. Like, there's some random old ass 45s that I missed on y'all that I'm never getting. You know what I'm saying? That were super duper limited.
Yeah, none of that like $2,000.
That are worth, yeah, believe me, I know, because I was like, I need to get these, and I was like, all right, well, you know what, I'm not gonna get these. It is what it is.
You know, it's like, you know, the thing is, I have no problem with nobody. You know what I'm saying? I think hip hop is in a great space. You know, ever since shit I did Fly Guy, like I did shit with like the Droogs, you know, the Esther Nacks.
Yeah, and shout out to Droog too.
Who else? Esther Nack, Ito, Crime Apple.
Shouts to Crime Apple, yeah.
Like, all these people I put on my projects, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and like say for instance, like the guy Fahim. I met the guy Fahim. He was an apprentice cutting hair in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? That's that's the barbershop I go to. And he was in there making beats. And I'm like, yo, let me hear something. And I heard it. You know what I mean? I'm like, yo, keep getting sharp. Then like a couple months later, you know, he was still in there cutting hair. He cut my hair a couple times. We was just building. And he came, I told him, come over, man, so you can start getting sharp. Like, you know what I mean? Like, start building your craft. And he made a couple beats. And I rhymed on King City. You know what I'm saying? I think it was King City with Mock. And, you know, he went from there. He would start making beats for me. And, you know, like Mock was my camera guy at first. You
Oh,
know
really? That's the beginning?
Yeah, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's wild you see people who they are right now.
Right.
But it was
When I
like,
met Mock, he was a camera guy.
he was my camera guy. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, he was my camera guy. And then when I heard him rhyme, like, oh, this guy is incredible. You know what I mean? That's what I was, you know. And it was just like, damn, let me bring him. Because, like I said, I had a vision. I'm kind of like Belichick. You know what I mean? I'm like, yo. Like I
You're not
know what I'm
wrong.
saying? You know, I know what I could do with a guy like Mock, and he's talented, he's dope. It was a sound I really never heard before, and that's what I'm big on. You know what I'm saying? Just something different, something for the culture, and it's always been art first, and it was just like so. You know, that's when I was going around with, you know, everything limited, everything this, everything, you know, everything art, everything culture. And then a lot of people just adopted those words and techniques that I was doing. You know what I mean? Like, my whole thing is it's a lot of people, you know what I mean? Camouflage monk. Like, it's a lot of people know. My only thing is, like, you still got to pay homage to where y'all got it from. I love it. I still respect it. But don't act like y'all just
Came out of nowhere.
came out of nowhere. Y'all way up here. Like, come on, man. Don't do that. You know
Well,
what I mean?
listen. Let me say this: as basically an old man of this game now, who gets to watch it kind of from the sideline and just participate and play records and play stuff when it gets to me. Years after it gets to you, who's fully in the trenches. From my vantage of documenter of underground stuff for the last 20-some years, the second I got introduced to all this stuff that I liked, and I enjoy it all. I think all these cats are great. I'm excited about doing my Sunday show again. It's given me new direction. By the way, shout out to my boy Mark, Top Shelf Premium, too, who's been putting me on to a lot of stuff like you guys for years. Just, again, people who just love culture, right, and are just in it. I hear it, and right away I go, oh, this is all coming from this place. Like, I've seen this movie before, and it's great. By the way, that's how it has to be.
Right. Really.
So, listen, well, you may not get the credit every time. People don't necessarily know how to turn around and say those things. As someone who's been documenting it for a very long time, I mean, I'm saying it right here. It's been clear as day that this has been what's happening. I'm grateful for it because, frankly, before you guys popped up, you know, we hit a little dry spot in terms of underground hip hop because a lot of great underground artists kind of became mainstream artists, which is great, and I'm super grateful for it. You know, the TDEs of the world, those guys became stars, right? They drive a whole different kind of engine. Dreamville, the same thing. So they exist now in an amazing space also, and they have their huge fan base, but it's different. It's no longer the same as when you're living in a space of niche underground, which is the thing that a lot of us came up on.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, that's what a lot of us are passionate about. When I grew up on DITC and Big L wasn't a legend. Like, people talk about Big L now like he was a legend out of the womb. He wasn't. He was an underground rapper with a lot of flair and flavor. But it wasn't like people become legends. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
So I'm super grateful to see this happen. So what's the next plan? You know, because I mean, I know you guys are always going to blindside me. I'm going to be just sitting around and then be like, oh yeah, there's a new Conway album. So what is the plan of the coming 6 to 12 months for Griselda?
I mean,
What can you tell us? At least?
I mean, more work. You know what I'm saying? Body bag season, man. I feel Griselda is the top team in the game for many reasons. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, we're not about to stop working. We're not slowing up at all. So the same way we always drop music, it's just still gonna continue. Like it's not it's no reason to slow up. Like, you know what I mean? We not comfortable. You know what I mean? We hungry too. You know what I mean? Like, people in our lane, like, we might be the guys that drive the nice cars and wear the jewelry, but we still just as hungry as they still are. Like we look at them not even as competition, but this is a sport. So it's like we not comfortable. We not because we the ones on the radio or billboards or got a major release or we do this, we do that. Like we about to slow up. Like nah, we gonna keep showing y'all over and over and over again that. You know what I'm saying?
Did you learn that method from anyone, though? Was there the release format, which is very random and hard to follow in some ways, especially for, me. But, like, it comes up out of nowhere, and you drop, and you drop, and you drop, and there's a Benny project, and then there's a Benny and Dizza project, and then there's a Conway project, and then there's a Crew project. And then, did you get that method? Was there anything in the past that you saw and were like, oh, that's how I want to move? Or this just kind of happened with the way that technology has changed music?
I mean, we all stay hungry, so we always want to work. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we always working on something. You know what I'm saying? And just when it's done, we figure out, okay, let's drop it. We don't hold on nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like when it's done, because we don't, that's the thing. Like say for instance, I'll be like, hey, and I did this plenty times. Say I'll be like, Christmas, I'm dropping something. Right now, no song is even done. I just said Christmas is dropping something. I might go in there on the 18th, 19th, do the whole project, get it mixed, you know what I'm saying, and throw the cover out and it come out on Christmas. You know what I mean? Like, because no project has took longer than a week. You know what I'm saying?
It's beautiful.
Days, so.
But that is new though. This is an idea that really couldn't exist in another generation, where you needed months to roll out a project, literally just to physically get the plant. Just to get the plant to press up the vinyl was like, well, you need months to do that.
Right.
Now you literally can. If you decided you were dropping tomorrow, you could.
Yeah.
There's a way to get that done. Benny, do you have any immediate goals or things that you really want to do in the coming months and years that we need to be aware of?
Man, I just want to keep driving and pushing this Griselda flag, you know what I'm saying? Keep taking over as much as we can and keep pushing the envelope. Raising the bar as far as lyrics and as far as my genre, what I'm in, and sticking to the script, you know what I'm saying? Just amplifying everything I'm doing now.
The hip-hop world lost Juice WRLD this week, obviously. It's been the topic of conversation. And one thing that I've really been on about in talking about him is his freestyling and the way that he pursued music.
He was amazing freestyler.
Amazing. And so yesterday, people, I tweeted about it that I think he's an all-time great when it comes to that. And naturally, people, oh, you're only saying that now. I said I've been doing this 20 years. 97, I started being on the radio. It's 22 years. I could count on one hand or less the people who are as successful as Juice WRLD and requesting to go and rhyme over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, Juice WRLD is the only person that I ever went on YouTube ever and just typed in Juice WRLD freestyle.
Right?
Ever. That's the only person ever. Not giving him his roses now because he passed. I'm literally saying, like, this was the only guy I ever typed in, because once I heard, it was just like a clip. Sometimes you just want to hear what the young boy's doing. So
right.
I clicked on it. He was going for like 8-9 minutes. I'm like, yo, this kid is crazy.
Bro, he did an hour with Westwood twice.
Yeah, he like, I never heard, you know what I'm saying? It was just amazing. You know what I'm saying? So next thing you know, it was like 20 of them, 30 of them.
Yep.
Like him just going in. And I'm like, yo, this dude is incredible. At that age, too.
He one of them dudes who, when you in this rap game, you always run across those dudes who always say like, yo, man, who always have more faith in their freestyles than they writtens. I could tell that was him. I could tell that he felt more comfortable freestyling than he did going to the pen.
I think his whole last album was freestyle. He was comfortable.
He don't even rap. Yeah. He don't even rap. Right.
And actually has real bars in there too when he's freestyling. I think culturally people have forgotten what freestyling is. People got so used to writtens that when you freestyle, a lot of times people think it's whack because it doesn't sound like a written.
Right.
And you're like, no.
They don't understand the difference.
You don't understand. This is off the top. It's not. Yeah. I remember once I had Asher up here. Asher was a guy who will always rap. Like, you play a beat, Asher he'll go. Sometimes it's amazing. Sometimes it's cool, but it's always off top. And so I remember reading comments on it one time, and they were reviewing it like, I'm like, wait, he was just rapping off the top of his head for 10 minutes straight.
Right, exactly.
People
don't understand that there's a difference.
They want it to sound like it's an album and shit. Perfect.
But that's us warping it by calling freestyles that are writtens.
Right.
You know, I take blame for that too, because we'll say so-and-so comes up and freestyle. They didn't freestyle. It's cool that, by the way, I enjoy writtens. I'm not saying you can't come up to a radio station and kick a written. I'm not knocking people for that. But from a word, we have to understand the difference. We're talking about,
because there's two meanings of freestyle. You got the one meaning where they got the mixtape freestyles, or the dudes go to these platforms and freestyle. That's basically mean like freestyle, do whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? Do whatever you want. And then you got freestyle off the top.
Yep.
The dome freestyle. So the fans, really, us in a rap world, we knew what it meant, but the fans, they didn't know what it meant, so they the ones who confused that. You know what I mean?
I think so too. It's a language thing.
Right.
Like, for example, we use the term mixtape now. There's no tape or mix.
Right. Exactly.
So language changes over time, and people need to. You're not keeping up with how the language changes. So freestyle has a double meaning. When I say Juice WRLD is one of the best ever, you might have battle cats who are like, "What? He can't." The funny thing is, those freestyle battles aren't freestyles. They're just battles. That changed too. A battle, the essence of a battle at first was supposed to be, yo, we're going off the top, let's go. As the years went on, no, that's not what a battle's about. Now culturally, it's different.
Right.
So the illest battler, it's not about his freestyle bars. It's about how he can do research on you and destroy you.
The illest battler probably, it took him a month to come with that shit.
Right. And that's all good, by the way. It's just a different art.
Yeah.
It's a different form of art. Now, speaking of battle cats, a few of them teamed up and jumped on a record with Nick Cannon to go at Marshall. My question is, I don't think Marshall's very concerned about the Nick Cannon battle. However, if Marshall makes the phone call and is like, yo, man, these cats are coming for me and I'm not doing this dirt. I want Griselda to handle this work. Is that a call that gets answered affirmatively? Westside Gun.
I mean, I'm not into battling. You know what I'm saying? Now, these guys is animals. You know what I'm saying? These guys is animals. But me personally, you know, that's not what I do. You know, a lot of people try to throw rocks at me before. You know what I'm saying? I kill them with success. I kill them with fancy cars and big jewelry. And
but Benny and Conway do
front row everywhere. That's how I kill you. Because when I look at who I'm supposed to be battling, it's like, why am I battling you?
But they seem like the kind of guys who could get some enjoyment out of just destruction.
They different. That's what I said. They different. You asked me, but they different. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, you could kill people in many different ways. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I kill people by every time you drive through Times Square, you got to see my big ass billboard. That's how I'm killing you every day. You know what I'm saying? So, but these guys, ask him.
Benny, would you enjoy putting in work in a situation? Like if Marshall ever asked you to be like, hey, you know, I'd like you to destroy someone for me. Would you be into something like that?
Like I said, man, because we on a press run, and I wish I had a dollar for every time somebody asked me this question in the past couple days. But it's like, if I was asked, of course, it's part of the culture. You know what I'm saying? Like, who wouldn't? Like, Marshall could ask anybody, and they, you know what I'm saying? Like, he probably wouldn't even ask me because he could ask dudes like Royce. I'm pretty sure Royce would do it. Like, if he called, you know what I'm saying, King Crooked. You feel what I'm saying? Like, he got people who he'll call, but of course, if he asks me, but that's for those guys, you know what I'm saying? That's for those guys, man.
But it's funny, because stylistically, I do feel like, separately from this kind of whatever the hell this bullshit is that Nick Cannon's messing around with, onto real hip-hop shit, it does seem like, though, that kind of back and forth with people is the kind of thing that you two specifically would enjoy. You know?
It's like the slick talk.
Just separately from that, or is that not for you, Conway?
No, that ain't for me personally. I really don't want that for us. You know what I mean? We on defense, man. We after something bigger, man. We come from a city where none of this never happened, so we got a lot of responsibility on, you know what I mean, with that in itself to put on for our city. But you know what I mean, like for example, like that diss song stuff, like. Me personally, like, I chop them niggas up for nothing. He ain't even have to call if niggas was nice. I just don't feel threatened by Nick Cannon and them. Like, I just, like...
Right, it has to be something worthy.
Yeah, I heard it last night, all jokes aside, because remember yesterday, we didn't even hear it. Yeah. So last night, I promise you, before I went to sleep, when I finally got in the bed, I'm laying there. I'm like, man, because what the thing was, I was on Twitter checking my Twitter, and it was like, they got a part 2 out. So I'm like, hold on, before I hear part 2, let me just hear part 1. Man, that shit is comical, man. Like
that's
you
what I
can't even
mean.
take
It's
that
clout and
serious.
it's
Like that's not.
comedy.
It's
Like,
not
I
even
don't play
dope.
them
Like
type
what
of
is we?
games,
What?
man.
Why would we waste our time? That's why I don't even think Marshall would waste his time.
I wouldn't. I think
because it's
that's
not
why he
even,
tweeted. I think
it's not even good.
Right.
It's not even good. Like why would we waste our time? Like to even come up with something to go against that. Like there wasn't. And like I said, it's like I can't even take that serious. Like even looking at the, you know what I mean, hearing the bars, looking at the video, it's like, what is this? Like you can't be serious. You first of all, I don't even know why you even try to come at Marshall with something like that anyway.
It's
With
clout.
five
It's
people,
comedy, you know what I mean?
with 5 people on
it's a
one
laughing
song
factor.
and none of the 5 was good.
that's my one problem. I just don't believe in bringing. I don't believe you can put out. I know Tupac on Hit 'Em Up had features, and I understand that's a specific circumstance. People love that record. I'm not going to knock that record. However, generally speaking, if you are actually going to go with someone, I believe you can't roll up 4 deep on a battle record.
No, you can't do
that's,
that.
That's not. That to me, that's. And I know he's probably playing around, and I agree. I assume Marshall will keep this to Twitter and not make a reply record to this because I think MGK did enough. I think MGK did enough to respond to. I liked MGK's record. I thought that was a worthwhile record and a worthwhile response from Marshall. You know, I think that was think what you want about MGK, but I think he came with a real record that's worth noting.
Yeah.
This is not in that frame.
Just like Conway said, you know what I'm saying? We on a different wavelength,
Mission,
you know what I'm saying? Mission and everything. So we ain't even into that, but I would be sitting here lying to the world to tell you to say that if he asked me personally, even if I'm just being real, even if I
like
didn't
you
want to
call-
do it, if he
yeah,
asked me
you call
personally, I
him.
wouldn't tell him no. I wouldn't say no.
call
I would hang
him,
up like,
bro.
damn, I
What?
promised him I'm doing it.
I ain't
You
gonna
know
lie.
what I mean?
I ain't gonna lie. I've been giving it some thought. Like I really want to give it to him. You know what I mean? But it's like for what?
But for
You know what
what?
I'm saying?
Yeah, for what?
And my thing is like you want to battle me. How about this? Because I seen a couple tweets from some of them dudes like, yeah, I got 50K, whatever. All right, let's put that 50K up and go make a classic album in 48 hours without writing a word or having a beat ready from scratch. You know what I mean?
Music.
Yeah. Let's battle like that.
Let's onto something very positive, and that is your Buffalo Bills. Are you guys enjoying this season in Buffalo?
Yeah, of course.
Do you consider yourself Bills Mafia? This is an important question.
Yeah.
Anybody
Yes.
from Buffalo is Bills
Yes.
Mafia. It's a couple people sprinkled here and there. They be trying to troll. That's in Buffalo that might, go for Dallas or the Patriots. But man, that's one of thousands. Like, nah, if you from Buffalo, that's all we had. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It's Bills Mafia. Like,
And how much do you love? You of all people, Gunn, have to love that you happen to root for a football team where the tradition is to go through a table in the parking lot. I mean, that's perfect for you. The biggest,
Dope.
one of the biggest wrestling fans in hip hop.
yeah, the biggest wrestler.
Oh, you want to take Dizza and Wale in a 3-way dance?
I already won the match.
Now you did jump in. I will say this. People, I don't know if people know, but you are in business with House of Glory Wrestling up here in New York.
Yes.
And
yes.
how's that going? How are things at House of Glory?
It's beautiful, man. You know what I'm saying? We had a show the other day. People flew in from all over. People came, drove from, D.C., Philly, Connecticut. Like, it was dope. A lot of people wore the merch I've created for my Fourth Rope brand. And it was live. And this is still the beginning. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're going to do a bigger venue, get TV involved. A lot of people that's in the industry want to be involved and want to come and want to support, like names you wouldn't even think of. I don't want to say yet because I just want it to be surprises every show. But, starting from now on, like we just wanted to get like the end of the year show just out the way so 2020 we could just start off big. And that's why I was speaking on, the venue I had mentioned off air. But it's like, once we activate that, it's about to be crazy. 2020 is about to be crazy for just the wrestling culture, just in general.
It's a good time right now.
Yeah.
Are you enjoying right now the battle between AEW and NXT on Wednesdays?
Yeah, I was just front row, Survivor Series and Takeover, but I've been front row, I've been front row at more AEW events than let me see,
Jim Ross
probably-
himself.
Yeah, it's like I probably just say for instance if they did 20 shows so far.
I think they've done like 15. Yeah, right. around
Yeah,
there.
I've probably been front row at 9 of them.
So you're
out
in.
the 15.
You're fully in.
Yeah. Yeah. Fully in, still with both. You know what I'm saying? Like, still gonna be, front row at everything. Like, that's what I do.
You're not
So-
picking sides, WWE,
Nah,
AEW. You're enjoying
I'm
it
in
all.
Yeah, I'm in it for the culture. You know what I'm saying? I think it's a good time in wrestling. Finally, just putting, competition back on the map. And for a while it was just WWE, no competition. And sometimes when you have no competition, you can just do anything you want.
No, every business is better with competition.
Yeah, it's like you can do
Hip-hop
whatever you
certainly
want,
is.
but then it's like, okay, now the new kids coming in, they're hungry, so they're putting in their all, and it's just gonna light a fire under you now. Like, well, damn, we can't do what we was doing no more because they're doing this. So now it's like, and the good thing about us, like from the outside looking in, like, okay, I'm looking at AEW, I'm looking at WWE. What could we do at Hog? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like I'm tapped in. That's what I do. I'm a mastermind. So Hog is going to be great. Hog is the future. You know what I'm saying? And none of my partners be like, damn, well, you part owner of Hog. Why you still front row at AEW? Or why you still front? It's none of that. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm in it for the culture, and it's actually just going to help us in the long run.
Yo, listen, love you guys. Very excited about the project and happy you're here, man.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, bro.
Give
Love,
it
you already
love
know.
always. Congratulations on the
100%.
album. Go check it out. WWCD.
What was Sheen gonna do, man? Rest in peace, Sheen Gun
Everywhere,
Black.
man.
Griselda's
Tap in,
album's
tap
out
in.
right now. Shout to the whole Shady team. Thank you guys.
You
It's really Hot 97.
Appreciate it.
Yes.
Cover a lot of bases there.
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of ground to cover. A lot of ground to cover.